served our nation as the country marks this Veterans Day. The lawsuit filed against the House of Mercy after a stabbing killed one man and seriously injured another. And the devastation left behind by Hurricane Nicole as the remnants of the storm reach Rochester.
It's still raining out there at this hour. We've had 1 to 2 inches in some areas this evening. That all pulls away. We'll talk about what's coming for the weekend. Maybe a little snow for some. That forecast coming up.
From your breaking news and weather authority on Fox Rochester, this is 13 Wham News at 10.
A very wet and rainy Veterans Day as what's left of Hurricane Nicole reaches the Northeast. Good evening to you. I'm Matt Malloy. Doug has the night off. Those steady rains still with us this evening, but do they last into the weekend? We begin this evening with meteorologist Scott Hetzko. Scotty?
Thank you, Matt. Good evening. And I think it's going to be gone in the next couple of hours, but it has been enough rain in a short period of time to induce some flood warnings to the south. Southern Livingston County, Wyoming County. You can see it next to me on the screen here. So this area has had a couple inches of rain. Look at the Doppler estimated rainfall. 2.5, almost 3 inches of rain in this area in just the last 8 hours or so. And you can see up in Monroe County, even for us, about 2 inches of rain. I know my rain gauge is about at that number here in Henrietta tonight. And notice the heavier rain. The areas that are in yellow and red are now shifting off to the east of Rochester at this hour. It's still over in Wayne County, Ontario County, Geneva. Good evening to you. It's coming down in Phelps as well. So that heavy rain there is going to be winding down in the next couple of hours. And we can show you that by timing it out for you here. Look at by 2, 3 in the morning. All the heavy rain is dissipating, but it's pretty heavy until then. So most areas, another 1/4 to 1/2 inch from the city east. Rochester's Veterans Day Parade is tomorrow, and the weather for that will be on the chilly side, a little windy, but temperatures in the middle 40s. When we come back, we'll have a closer look at the weekend, Maddie, and maybe we'll see Julia. I don't know if you see her over my shoulder. More on the forecast coming up in a few.
We do, Scott. I assume she's working on the extended forecast for you. We'll check back in. Thank you. If you are going to Monroe County's first ever Veterans Day Parade, it starts at 10:30 on Reservoir Avenue in Highland Park. It will travel around the park, ending at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial on South Avenue. That parade includes food trucks, a flyover from a C-47 that helped lead the D-Day invasion, along with some live music as well. Longtime radio host Brother Wease, who served 3 tours with the U.S. Army during the Vietnam War, will serve as the parade's Grand Marshal. On this Veterans Day, 2 local Army veterans being honored with highways named in their memories. Governor Kathy Hochul signing legislation today designating the Sergeant Gary Bykirk Highway, along with the specialist Jason Hasenauer Memorial Highway. We go now to 13 Wham's Carla Rogner. She explains it is a unique way for these families to continue their loved ones' legacies.
Yeah, that's right, Matt. Senator Jeremy Cooney and Representative Josh Jensen have been working on this legislation for some time now. But when I spoke with the Bykirk family earlier today, they said they didn't know it would be signed into law today on Veterans Day, and that makes it even more special. Sergeant Gary Bykirk was known to his community as a war hero for saving lives in Vietnam while risking his own, and for his tireless efforts to support veterans in Monroe County. He also served as a school counselor for more than 30 years. Bykirk died of cancer last December at 74 years old.
I was really always trying to point people to Jesus as well, and constantly talking about how living a life of significance rather than success is so important.
His daughters Sarah and Stephanie are proud as they look back at Gary's many accolades, including the Congressional Medal of Honor. But they mostly remember him as the loving father, grandfather, and great-grandfather who made every day a little more special, but especially around the holidays.
It's going to be hard this year without him, but we're going to keep on trying to carry on his legacy and keep speaking about him and what he stood for.
His family and the community he touched now have another way to honor his legacy every time they take a drive down Ladder Road in Greece.
He drove it every day. We drove it every day. So to be able to, have that close by my mom too is just very special.
Soon, there will be a sign here to let drivers know this is the Sergeant Gary Bykirk Memorial Highway.
Just seeing his name, and even think of that with
Exactly.
just like students that he used to counsel. That's the one thing they say is they just felt peaceful when they were around him. So even just seeing his name brings a sense of peace and comfort.
Each time they take a drive down this road, they'll stop and think of their dad, and they hope others will too.
I'm always reminded of the quote that my dad says, to really live, you must almost die. To those who fight for it, life has a meaning the protected will never know.
Definitely.
And it just really does make you very appreciative of what Veterans Day stands for.
And Sarah and Stephanie told me another way that they continue to honor their father's legacy is by continuing to stay involved with Rochester's veteran community that he cared so deeply about. They are excited to march in Monroe County's first Veterans Day parade tomorrow morning. Back to you, Matt.
Carla, thank you. As we mentioned, another veteran also receiving that honor today in Parma. Part of Route 259 is being renamed for Jason Hasenauer. He was killed by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan in 2005 when he was just 21 years old. Hasenauer served the Hilton Fire Department before joining the Army. Many tributes to our local war veterans today. This one happening in Pittsford. American Legion Post 899 co-hosting a ceremony at the Veterans Monument at William Carpenter Park on Main Street. It included a presentation of wreaths, a rifle salute, and the playing of taps. New tonight, a joint investigation involving Greece Police and the Livingston County Sheriff's Office. The sheriff telling us that his SWAT team executed a search warrant at a home on Alfonso Drive in Greece. We're told deputies were working to recover stolen property, including a weapon, and that investigation is ongoing. One of two victims who survived a stabbing at the House of Mercy in August is now suing that shelter. 13 Wham's Cheyenne Walker has the details.
Cameron Schuler alleges in his complaint that the shelter had knowledge of the alleged assailant's mental illness and history of violent outbursts. His attorney's office says the House of Mercy lacked security and failed to follow Department of Homeless Services rules meant to keep their staff and residents safe. A statement from Cameron Schuler's attorneys read, "Our client Cameron Schuler found himself without a place to live and turned to the House of Mercy in his time of need. Unfortunately, the shelter and its employees failed to protect Mr. Schuler and other residents, resulting in a vicious attack that left Mr. Schuler with severe and permanent physical and psychological injuries." In August, we interviewed Schuler after he spent several days in the hospital. Following the attack, he suffered from alleged injuries to his face, hand, and arm. He showed us his wounds while he recounted that night.
He just rushed in my cube, and I put my back towards the wall, and he hopped on the bed and started hitting me with the machete. Since I've been there, they only practiced security probably about twice, and that's really bad. Not only that, people walk around with pocket knives just casually, like it's nothing.
Cheyenne Walker, 13 Wham News at 10 on Fox Rochester.
In response to that legal action, the House of Mercy did release a statement. It reads, quote, "Although we cannot comment on the pending litigation, House of Mercy continues to prioritize the safety of our guests, volunteers, and employees as we move forward in our mission to serve the homeless community." We are following some breaking news this hour. We do have reports of a rollover crash. This is 590 northbound near Browncroft Boulevard in Brighton. You see the live pictures, and you can see that vehicle flipped upside down this hour. We have been hearing of the visibility being difficult this evening because of the rain out there. So keep in mind, you see the tow truck approaching at this hour. We do not have any word on injuries at this point, but you see a rollover crash there, 590 northbound at the Browncroft area exit. Again, visibility not great tonight with that rain out there. Give yourself extra time and slow down on the roads out there. We'll keep you posted on if we get any word on any injuries in that crash there. Now to alarming new reports finding thousands of Rochester City school students are critically behind in math and reading levels. Test results from more than 12,000 Rochester students in grades K through 8 show that 41% of the students tested are 3 or more grade levels behind in reading, and 42% are 3 or more grade levels behind in math.
This translates not into percentages, this translates into actual babies, children, students. These are people in our community, and these are the young people that we are supposed to be educating. So I want us to really be sober. And when we look at this data and how this really translates to the children we are supposed to be serving.
As I looked at the data, conversation was, we didn't get here overnight, right? Like this didn't just happen this past year or because of COVID or, right? I think COVID definitely has had an impact, right? We all know that. But we're not also gonna get out overnight. It's gonna take long, hard strategic work, like you're saying.
The district is currently working on a plan to address those issues. Still ahead here on Fox Rochester tonight. The celebration in Ukraine as Russia retreats from a key region. And the destruction behind by Nicole in Florida.
Your Weather Authority extended forecast is brought to you by Lisa's Liquor Barn.
The Bills